Hello, everyone, and welcome back into the TnT podcast. I'm your host, Ted,
And I'm Tim.
and today's episode is going to be an interesting one. As a few hours ago, we actually just got our power back.
A few hours ago, it was like an hour and a half.
Oh, it feels like longer.
See, because of the hurricane, obviously, we're from New Jersey, so our power got, destroyed. Most of the state.
Yes, 1.4. You said was it
1.4 million people were out.
Wow. So we were part of it. A whole town.
Our entire town.
Yes, it was out.
And surrounding ones.
Yes. Our whole town was out for about 3 days or so, give or take.
It was literally exactly 3 days.
Yeah.
I remember Tuesday it went out, it was around 1, and it came back today around 1.
I lost my power around 4 o'clock. He lost his. He was the first one to lose power.
This side of town.
Yeah, there were trees literally everywhere known to man.
Hanging on power lines. Yep.
Dude, the next town over, it was like a war zone. Every street was closed, because when you're in that woodsy area, every single street was pretty much closed except for the main road.
Yeah. We had that poor cop sitting. He was sitting there for 2 days straight.
Just sitting there doing nothing, just guarding the road.
Making sure nobody came down.
Yeah, unless it was local traffic or something.
I don't even know.
There must have been, I think there was an opening there, the block. I think there was probably something.
I'm sure there was.
Yeah.
There's all those houses there. People still sure had to go to work and stuff.
Yeah, because some people, even the surrounding towns, if you had, a tree go down, then you have another tree go down, you're in between, and now you're stuck.
Yep.
So some people had to deal with that.
So this is first world problems to its max, of course. But
yes, it was really tough because we rely on so much of electric, with our phones and laptops and everything in between.
Yeah, we weren't even sure we were gonna be able to
podcast.
Yeah, I put out on Twitter we're gonna try, but
yeah,
no promises because we just don't have power.
Because there were so many dates and times where it was gonna come back on.
Oh, it was supposed to come on the first night, and then the next night, and then it's not gonna be on until next Sunday. Oh, now it's not gonna be on
Tuesday.
Yep.
Yeah, it was it kept jumping back and forth and back and forth, and the people around the area just had enough of it because the company that works on the electric wasn't really
communicating.
Yeah, it wasn't really saying.
They're
anything.
saying, "Hey, we're working on it."
Yeah,
that's it.
But they would, but nothing.
They didn't
else.
assess they didn't give out information on the types of damages, nothing like that. No. They were just basically saying we're working on it.
Yeah, and sometimes they would say it, but they weren't even doing it. It's that's one of the things too. And people, it just infuriated everybody because the way they handled it. It wasn't even the workers they were doing their job. It was the management.
The management of the company. People were saying "Oh my God, these workers, they're just sitting here doing nothing," and I'm like, yeah, but I'm sure they have to wait for direction. They're still human.
The higher ups have to tell them what to do.
Yeah, they're still human. They have to take a break. They have to take lunches.
Yeah,
it's an emergency, but they're still human. Can't blame the workers. The management of the company, that's different.
Yeah, because they're the ones that tell them what to do. It's you got to do this or you got to do that. But they're just trying to do their job and what they're told because, obviously they would get in trouble if they do otherwise.
Yep.
So,
I'm saying it's so the state learned nothing from Hurricane Sandy.
Yeah, and that's the thing is they they went down South Jersey instead of North. They didn't.
When we got hit harder up here.
Yeah, we got hit so bad. I mean, all the surrounding towns were out of power for about the first town that was one of the towns that power a day after us. So every town by us was out of power for a good amount of time.
Yeah, at least 2-3 days.
For lucky for some of you guys, you guys had generators. I didn't. Living in a condo complex, you don't have one. You're not able to.
Yeah, that's why I was thankful we had a little one, so at least for our fridge, the food didn't go bad. And then, thankfully, we had one AC in our living room. That didn't help me sleeping at night, but
yeah, we had nothing. I mean, with living in a condo complex, you have no space to put a generator. There's literally none, unless you live on the first floor. But living on, a second or third floor, you're not gonna be able to get it. I mean, yeah,
I mean, you could have, if you had a little one, you could probably put it like on your little balcony.
possibly, but it'd been too close because then the carbon monoxide.
Well,
could
you can
have
just
came
have it facing away.
in. Yeah, it just
If there's a fan in there, it blows the fumes, but you can have it face that way.
probably could have worked, but we just probably didn't want to risk it or whatever. But it's all right. The thing is like for days, sleeping was the tough
Oh
part.
my god.
The first night, honestly, the first night wasn't bad.
Well, first night was fine.
It was very cool. So like
the second one was worse than last night.
Last night was brutal. Last night was pretty bad. We it got so
For reference,
bad.
we're recording this on Friday.
Yes.
So it's last night,
Thursday night.
Death.
Yes. And
Oh my god.
for me, last night I was playing on my Switch. My Switch has been a savior because keeping busy with that, so thank goodness for the Switch. That was a great investment.
I'm playing lots of Smash. What else was I playing on it? SpongeBob.
Of course.
I even broke out Pokemon. And even right before the power came back on, me and my brother broke out our Game Boy Advances.
Oh man! Hey, listen, you got to do what you got to do to spend to pass the time. If you're so bored and you don't want to look at walls all day long.
Actually, yesterday at work, a girl came and she was like, "Do you have a charger for this bad boy right here?" Whips out a Game Boy, and I'm like, "I feel that, but no, that you're gonna have to maybe." I told her you can try GameStop. But I don't even know if they would still. That'd be something you have to get like on eBay.
That's something that's so like, I wouldn't say, I mean, I guess it's obsolete now because like,
It really is.
Yeah.
Now you got the Switch, which is like the dominating mobile.
Yeah. Because that's like, it looks like, at first when I saw it, I'm like, it kind of looks like a little bit of a PSP almost. Because the PSPs were always like that.
Oh, I love the PSP.
Those things were great to play.
Oh, yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. But those type of things are great when something like that happens, where you have to try to pass time and stuff like that.
Because I was playing my Switch so much.
Because that was the only thing you could use, really. I mean,
because even the cellular was.
Oh, the cellular was bad. Yes, good thing you brought that up.
It would say we had bars, but it either wouldn't work or it'd be slow.
It'd take a long time to load stuff too.
When we went to the Quick Check over there, worked fine.
Yeah.
Go back into our town, doesn't work.
Yeah. So it was very spotty in our town, and it would be very difficult to try to even calls. I couldn't make phone calls.
All right, I was trying to. It would work for a second, then it would either just drop the call or just go silent.
Yeah. And it was very complicated, so it was hard to communicate with anybody because text messages wouldn't go through, calls wouldn't go through.
I don't know if this is going to go through, but if it does, I'll hang out, just beep outside my house.
Yeah. And that's what, I mean, the other night when you guys texted you were here, I was like, oh boy. I'm like, hopefully this message goes through so you guys know I'm coming or whatnot, know that you're here. So.
Yeah, because you take 5 years to exit your condo.
Yes, I do take a while.
Ted gets ready when you say you're here. Instead of, oh, I'm leaving. Okay, I'll get ready now.
Sometimes I'm good with that. Sometimes I'm not.
No.
Sometimes it depends.
Sometimes you're worse and sometimes you're worser. And that's not even a word. I'll say, that's why I started giving you the time limit. Like, I'm here, be down by next 2 minutes, or I'm leaving. And the one day, actually, I did. I started
to come down.
I started to drive away, and then you walk out. I'm like, you lucky dude.
I was coming. I was like, I'm coming down. But, yeah, I mean, in my condo, walking up the stairs was like, I couldn't, it was freaky as hell because you're going up these stairs and you're in pitch black and you're not, I got my phone light on, but when I turned that thing off.
Oh, pitch black, yeah.
It was cool, but it was
it's like, I'll get to Walmart in a second, but keep going. Go ahead.
But it was just cool. Like, yeah, it's cool to look at, but then you're like, man, I just want the power back on.
Yeah, I feel that. Like when the power goes out, you're like, ooh, this is different. But
Yeah.
after like a few hours, you're like, okay, I'm over
All
it.
right,
Turn
come
it back
on,
on.
let's turn it back on now. Let's stop playing the games. Let's go.
Yep.
Like,
So I wasn't working Tuesday when the power went off, but I've been through power outages at Walmart. That's pretty cool.
yes,
Seeing
and those
Walmart.
pictures are pretty nice. I got to say, they are
So
really
I
cool
will
to look at.
on our Twitter. I will post a picture of Walmart with no electricity. It's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's really
Especially because you can't work. Like I'm sure some have like a generator, but we don't have a generator for anything. Not even the refrigerators, freezers, nothing.
You were saying they were gonna get a generator, possibly, but I don't know if.
Well, they have one now to power the building, but say that thing's huge.
But you said it costed how much?
A lot of money. I don't know if I can say it, but it's a lot of money.
Hmm.
It is big boy bucks, we'll say. Because it's a huge ass generator. You got to think of all the gas it uses.
Right, because
And it has to power that huge building.
The whole building. So
Yep.
I mean, I can imagine how much gas they have to actually put in to the building just in one day in general.
Yeah, but what for Walmart when the power goes out, within a few minutes doesn't come back on. You got to get all customers out, and then they have like security lights, but those only last after an hour. They slowly start going out because after that, then you're really not allowed to be in the building.
Right.
I remember one time it was out for hours. We literally sat outside. And you know that big bouncy ball that's in my trunk?
Yeah.
Which is still in there. Remember, me and a coworker literally just played volleyball. Right outside of Walmart, we're playing volleyball with all the other workers watching. We're just playing volleyball. And customers are coming. Here we are just
having
having a
good
grand old time.
Yeah. That's like that. I had that happen to me when the power went out at the condo because the thing was they had the emergency lights on, with the fire hydrant underneath it. So I'm like, okay, it's gonna keep on for a while because it's out of power and whatnot.
No, those aren't. They're not meant to be on.
No, because what happened was a couple hours later it shut off.
Yep.
So we're like, oh boy, this is not gonna be fun walking up these stairs. So. First night, I was it was kind of like you're like starstruck because you're just like, wow, I can't believe this is actually happening right now. So
that's the most first world problem sentence that I've ever heard.
No,
oh my God, we have no power. I cannot believe that just happened.
It's because like you're so used to it. You're so used to having power that
you live a certain way, you get used to it.
Yeah, because like you take it for granted. Now never take electricity
or AC
for granted or AC for that too. Take it for granted ever again.
Oh, nope.
So, with that, with the AC, like you said, it just was unbearable, especially last night. I had to, it got so bad. I literally, having no hot water anymore, I had to go, into the shower again. I literally just laid there and just let the cold water hit me because I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing anything. Where am I supposed to go? I'm just gonna sweat again. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna lay here. Let the cold water
that's
hit
why
me.
the other day I just went for a run just so that I would get hot, and then I jumped into a nice cold shower.
Yeah. So like, anyway, it was you had to find a way just to stay cool. It was tough. I mean,
but back to Walmart. You just started talking about something else. I wasn't done.
Oh, sorry.
But it wasn't much. I wound up. So the power went off Tuesday, and then Wednesday still no power, so I just didn't have to go into work,
which was very nice. So
of course, but yeah, there's still no power here, so I can't do anything.
Right.
And then yesterday I had to go into work. They got that huge generator. So I actually had to go to work, but. Okay, now I'm done with more. But I will post a picture on our Twitter, TnT_pod. Mm-hmm. I will post a picture on there, so you can see it because it's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, and with the people on Facebook, when I was seeing, I went on Facebook the other day, or I think it was yesterday, and I went on the comment section because, like, the mayor posted something or whatnot, and everybody was bashing, the the main power company, and saying how, they're not doing anything. They're not they're not sending people out. They're not, checking everything out. Stuff
No,
like
it's
that.
because Hurricane Sandy was a huge storm. It didn't bring the rain like Hurricane Irene did, but it brought the winds and it was destructive. And it's like they didn't learn anything from it. It's not like it's a different company; it's the same company.
Yeah,
and they didn't learn anything from it. And they were supposedly making like $1 billion upgrades. Nothing to show for that.
no, and the upgrades didn't show during the storm.
Nope.
So,
The storm didn't even last that long.
No,
it was like a couple hours,
yes.
and then it was done.
Yeah, that was the crazy part, is that it lasted maybe 2-3 hours? It was a 2-3 hour storm. It was moving really fast. It was moving like 10 miles an hour going up the Carolina coast, and then it picked up speed. I went at like 40 miles an hour as it started to come up here. So, you'd think, okay, quick storm, it won't be too bad, wasn't as strong or slow. So it's like, all right, whatever. It wasn't as hyped up as what Sandy was. Sandy was hyped up, but it wasn't.
Didn't it hit us as a tropical storm?
It did.
Didn't Sandy, it hit us as a hurricane?
Yeah, that hit us as a hurricane.
This didn't. Look that up quick, actually.
Yeah. It was a category, it was a Cat 1. It was like, Sandy was 80 mile an hour winds or something like that.
It was a category 3 at its peak when it made landfall in Cuba.
Sandy?
Yeah. It was a category 2 when it hit the Northeast U.S., so I guess here. So it was a category 2 when it hit us.
Oh, it was a 2? Wow. I didn't know that. Wow. That was a Cat 1, but yeah, that storm was powerful. I mean, we for me, I lost power for about 2-3 days. I know you said you lost power for about a few hours.
Yeah, we got so lucky. It was at night where we were going to sleep and we lost power, and we woke up, it was already on. It might have been, I don't know, maybe 4 hours we lost power, whereas others in our town were out for
days and weeks.
Week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks even.
Yeah. So, the difference between these two storms with these
Sandy hit during the fall.
Yes.
So you didn't have to worry about heat.
Or trees falling. Not as much as...
Still did, but...
Yeah. But I'm saying branches, with leaves on them, because obviously, in the fall, leaves were starting to fall, so the
That's why they call it fall.
Thank you. Leaves were starting to come down, and, wasn't much weight on the trees, so a lot of the branches wouldn't fall down. Obviously, they still did.
It was a stronger storm, so I don't think that really changed much. It being in fall, I'm saying heat wise, in the fall, it's obviously not going to be as near as hot during the summer, and not nearly as cold as the winter. So it's like
it's tolerable.
It's tolerable, yeah. And if you're cold, you put on a blanket.
Yeah,
I mean, coat, something. Whereas here during the summer, it's August.
And this is the peaking point of summer, where everything's the hottest all year, basically. That's just what it was. I mean, you would think July would be, but nah. So
it's usually August.
Mid-August is usually the hottest part,
and then it starts winding down as it gets towards September. But
yeah. So with this, I mean, I think there's still some people without power in the town. Not everybody's on it, because there was still some power lines down.
I still hear some generators near me, so I think street over or two, something like that. Still don't. I mean, that was before they could now, but
yeah.
I don't know. I'm just thankful. Me and my brother were sitting in the living room, and all of a sudden I hear dink. I'm like, what was that? We look at the cable box. It turned on. We go, yes! We started yelling. My dog jumped up like, what the hell is happening?
I heard the biggest gasp out of my mom I've ever heard. And I'm like, are you okay? I was like, what happened? Next thing you know, I see the air conditioner on, and I'm like, hey, we got power back. And I see my mom starting to bawl her eyes out. I'm like,
thank God we have power.
I know, she was so happy, and she was happy crying. I'm like, that's great. It's great, but I never thought my mom would be this happy to get the power back.
Yeah, I didn't feel like crying, but I was definitely happy.
Yeah. Definitely. I definitely was pretty happy. Now I can finally charge my phone, charge my Switch.
Yeah, you don't got to worry about being in the car or
Oh,
connecting it to a
yes.
generator. You could just, hey, there's a wall outlet. I can charge this.
Yes, you brought up a good point. A lot of our friends that we talked to were basically charging charging the phones in the cars and going on drives just so they could pass the time so their phones could charge. That was literally the only thing that really was helpful was our car chargers. The car chargers came up so clutch during during these past 3 days.
I was so close to sleeping in my car last night just so I could charge my phone
and actually be cool.
And yeah, I'll leave my car on. I will pay for more gas. I don't care.
Yeah. So
I was so close to it. I'm like, nah.
It's tempting.
It was so tempting.
Because like you're just like I'm tired of just sitting in pitch darkness, not having. Like,
I just had a flashlight facing the ceiling, so at least there was some light and it reflected down. But so speaking of gas, that's another thing. Oh my god,
yes.
the gas stations.
The gas stations.
Everybody and their fish's uncle was getting gas.
Yeah, I mean,
you would go there and
lines.
it would be mobbed. It was like they were giving gas away for free.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the other night when we were hanging out? We were coming to get you. The quick check buys mobbed.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, I'll wait. Got you, and we were coming back, and it was almost empty. Went right up to the pump, got gas, left.
And then a minute later,
I'll say we passed it a few minutes later,
and it was jammed.
Oh yeah, that's when we came back to my house, so I could use the bathroom. Then we went back that way.
Because there was no parking spots.
Nope.
Every single parking spot was filled.
People were parking where you're not supposed to, blocking cars, just so they could wait to get gas. I'm like, nope.
And just to
this.
fill up the generators.
Yep.
They looked like they had to do like an emergency gas thing because I saw the big trucks.
Yep.
The big truck there.
So I guarantee you they had to put in for an emergency delivery, I bet.
Yeah. Because of just how crazy it was those 3 days where everybody was like, we got to get, a generator. We got to get gas.
I'm saying my dad was looking to get an actual one. I told you that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like really small. He wants to get like a real one, like just in case.
Right.
So like, yeah, we're not gonna be able to find one now.
Yeah. That's the thing is like
everyone and their brother's son was getting one.
They had to. I mean, you didn't know because like what they said. I mean, they were like you were going to be out from like the worst case scenario.
The worst case scenario was like a week.
A week, yeah. So we're like, okay, they want to throw this out on us, and we're all like panicking. Like, what are we going to do? Where are we supposed to go?
Yep.
What are we supposed to get? Like, how are we going to survive for a week without power? Because like obviously we rely so much on electricity. Because like obviously with food in the fridge.
21st century, everything's based off of electricity.
Yeah, because you have food in the fridge, in the freezer. So like, if that goes bad, you're not going to have anything. All you're going to have is snacks.
That's why I was thankful yesterday that my stove is gas, so I could I had to use like a candle lighter to light it, but I made mac and cheese.
You're lucky. My stove is electric. I was telling you.
Mine used to be, and then my dad got a different one, and it was gas. I was like, wow, that actually came in useful.
Yeah. Like I told you earlier, I was telling you about this, my condo is basically electric. The heat is electric and also the stove. And
I didn't even know heat could be electric.
It is. You wouldn't think it would be, but it is.
But that's all like gas. Like I know, like the hot, that was English. hot water tank. Ours is electric now. We used to have like one that had a pilot light.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad tried to put the generator to that, but I think it has like a safety in it. If it's not like a consistent voltage, it's not going to light.
I see. Okay.
But honestly, cold shower felt fine.
But it felt good to take it once you were hot.
Oh, when you're hot, it feels great.
Oh, fantastic.
But if I was just to jump in the shower right now, I'd be like, hell no.
No. But to go when you go on a run or something, or if you're already sweating buckets from something, it feels great. It feels wonderful. But it's dealing with that for three days is just crazy. I don't know how our ancestors dealt with that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's I'm saying. They're having all this all this clothing they had back in the day. Back in like the 1800s and all that. I don't know how they dealt with the heat. They must have been sweating buckets.
I can't even.
Yeah. Like, how do you sleep? Like, how do you deal with that? I
They
mean,
must. I mean, they didn't know air conditioning was a thing, obviously, so
yeah.
they just dealt with it, I guess.
Like, I'm sure, like, in the fall and the spring weren't obviously bad because obviously, it was like not too hot, not too cold. In the winter, you had the
Fireplace.
fireplace, so that brought in heat, so that was fine. But the summer, man, whew, if it was hot, you were not
I will
sleeping.
never take air conditioning for granted again.
Nope, we're not doing
Never
that ever
again.
again. Um, you know, um, Even with like you said earlier, with the food places, like ShopRite and
Yep, like when I went to work
Stop and Shop.
yesterday, all the refrigerators, freezers, they had to throw everything out.
Yeah,
So, I mean, the store, they have insurance, so they get credit for it, but that's still all that wasted food.
right. And now, but think about it today. Now everyone's trying to get restock their fridge,
Yep,
and now
they can't because they
can't.
had to throw everything away.
Yeah, because now it's like all these people are gonna rush in, but what's there to get now? There's nothing frozen because they have to
Everything you
throw it
need,
away.
they had to throw it away too.
Yeah. So like now they gotta get orders and stuff like that, which they probably ordered in already. Probably they're getting shipments in and stuff like that. But it's like chaos. It's like the world's already bad enough with the whole coronavirus stuff, but now you add on with the electricity. Now with no
I'm saying,
electric,
dude, 2020 just
my mom described it. It's basically survival.
survival of the fittest. Like
Darwinism.
this year, I was gonna say that this year is literally like natural selections year.
Yeah, basically Charles Darwin is like, yep, this is my year for natural selection and Darwinism.
How to be naturally selected.
Yep. So that's just the way it is, and that's just how life is, and
Do be like that sometimes.
it do be.
It do be.
So that's one thing that we've learned so far about 2020 is that it's Darwinism.
That's what I'm saying. I've said this many times now. If on New Year's, if I look in the sky and see tutorial complete, I'm just going home and staying home. I'm
It's
never
a G-
leaving my house.
It's a GG. It's done. Unless
So I'm saying tutorial complete. 2021's gonna be worse.
If we're together for New Year's, damn well I'm gonna say that.
Tutorial complete.
Mm-hmm. So damn well I'm gonna say it, and welcome to Jumanji, I guess.
Jesus.
It's,
That's what I'm saying. Like I said, this is such a first world problem. Obviously, there are many worse problems going on in the world.
yes.
Like our prayers go out to everyone affected by the explosion in Lebanon. Like that's a real problem.
Yes.
But it was like I don't know, change in life like this. It just puts stuff into perspective that
Yes.
we got it
That's the life lesson, and that's what I want you guys, the listeners, to know, that don't take anything in life for granted.
Yep.
Because if one thing goes, then you're just like, wow. Now I appreciate it now. Because sometimes it might be too late, but it's better to appreciate now than not.
Agreed. Like these lights on us right now. Thank you. Air conditioning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Roof over our heads.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything more to say?
We just thanked inanimate objects.
That's great.
Hope they said it back or said you're welcome. I can't.
They will at some point.
All right. With that said, I think we will leave it off there. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Make sure to check us out on all our socials, tntpodcast.com. Find everything over there, including the link to our shop, t-shirts, anything you want. They're all on there. So, with that said, thank you guys for listening.
Yes, thank you so much.
And we will catch you next week.
Peace, guys.